Yeah, thank you, everyone. My name is Sue. I lead APAC for Eigen Foundation. Previously, I was part of the Eigen Labs in charge of staker and operator. So I did a quick panel before, so I'll probably cut down on my own intro and EigenLayer. So want to welcome today's guests, and want to first off starting with a bit of an introduction, like who you are and your project.
Hi everyone, so my name is Kong and I'm head of growth for Puffer Finance. So Puffer Finance is known for a restaking platform to Ethereum, so I shan't really delve that much in that. But beyond that, we are not just building a restaking anymore. We are going to launch a new product called a base rollup to Ethereum, which will form very strong synergy with our existing restaking protocol. I'll share more later at the end of this panel.
And just like Sue, I'll just cut down my introduction. My name's John. I run a company called A41 and also Moa, who are the host of this event.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I go by YJ. So I'm the founder of OpenLayer. What we do is authentic data layer that can be powered by everyone. We are also building AVS on top of the EigenLayer. Would love to share more later.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just jump right in. I think all the people here are working closely with EigenLayer platform and with a lot of our, we have LRT operator AVS. So I want to start off by asking a bit more like, how did you kind of first find out about EigenLayer and restaking? And from your perspective, what does restaking mean to you? And how does that kind of shaped the day-to-day in your protocol operation? Yeah. I guess I can start with our AVS partner,
Sure.
since this is what we're building it for. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So the first time we got to know EigenLayer is around half a year ago, and at that time we were building a data layer. And what we do is we allow every operator, they can supply data for our network. The data here could be both the public data available on the internet, as well as the user private data stored in different Web2 database today. So when we firstly built it, we use a technology called TLS Notary. Basically, the technology is to export data from any Web2 websites, even those without an API. And also we run a layer of zero knowledge proof on top of it. So basically, when we run the cryptographic proof, it takes up to 20 seconds to provide the data. But however, some of our data customers, they want to get the data in a low latency way. They want it to have like 1 second latency or even less. So that's the reason it will be super hard for us to use our cryptographic technology to provide the data in a low latency way. And we start to search for solutions that can help us provide a faster data solution. So at that time, we came across EigenLayer, and we realized it's really a good way for us to run the cryptographic verification in an optimistic way, while we can basically provide the data in a fast way. So basically how we use EigenLayer is by using the restaking assets as a backup. We can assume the data provided by each operator is correct first, and then we can run the cryptographic validation, we can run the detection later after that. So basically, in this optimistic way, we are able to dramatically reduce the latency of the data we support. And that's the reason we start to build our AVS on the EigenLayer testnet and the mainnet. We launched our AVS EigenLayer mainnet since April or May this year. So it's been a while since we launched on the mainnet.
Yep. What about, I think, A41 Puffer? Like, how did you come across like restaking, and why do you decided that you want to be part of this restaking trend?
Should we hark back to yesterday, KBW main stage, and go like Feisty.
Sorry?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just joking.
Oh, I mean, you could.
Yeah.
We have all the AVS here to speak on our behalf as well. So
Okay.
happy to chat more.
Okay. We came across the idea of restaking, just like every other operator, I think, when EigenLayer started working group for operators. That's when we got to learn about EigenLayer's existence and from the other operators, and then we were invited to the working group, and that was like how we got to know EigenLayer. And ever since then, we were trying to figure out how, there are multiple questions I have over LRTs and AVSs, but I think since then, we were trying to figure out how we were gonna steer ourselves from this flood of restaking hype. Is basically what we were trying to do as an operator, but at the same time, we're trying to cut down the costs, for all the partners that we have, and we try to contribute to the sustainability of the whole the restaking scheme.
For us, I think just like any other LRTs, when EigenLayer first came out with the framework, we thought that, wow, this is amazing. And so the founders actually set about to create a restaking platform. And they look at the existing players and they thought that they could probably do it a bit more securely. And so that's when they set about doing it. And from our point of view, why do we want to partake in it? Because we think it's very beneficial, not just to Web3 consumers, because we are serving Web3 commuters by giving them ability to make their liquidity more liquid and gain further use. And from a partner's point of view, we are there to actually provide this liquidity to AVSs. So yeah.
Yeah, so on that point, how does, I'm just speaking it because I'm the moderator, so I can't answer this question, but obviously I know how it works, but how does operator, LRT, and AVS all come together and choose who do they want to work with? How does operator decide who are the AVSs that you guys want to work with, and how does AVS decide who are the operator? And then on top of that, who are LRTs, how do you decide the operator and AVSs? So whoever wants to jump in, feel free.
I think we look at two things. The first thing is technology. So our founders are a bit of a technical geeks. So when we actually choose the operators and AVSs that we want to work with, we obviously really deep dive and study the architecture and ensure that their people really know what they're talking about. They know the tech side of things before you choose to work with them. And I think the second thing is really security. We really pride ourselves a lot on security, and we really study deeply to ensure that these are people that really have very good security measures and risk management, so that these are probably the two parameters that we look at when we choose who we want to work with. Yeah.
I want to hear AVS first.
Okay, so the question is, how do we choose which operators? I think it's a hard question because we have onboarded more than 50, 60 operators. We are pretty open and permissionless. So we welcome a lot of the operators to support us. And actually, yeah, we also have some operators who work closer to us. And usually we prefer those who have a good understanding of the ecosystem, who reply fast, who support us along the way. Yeah, I would say it's more like both relationship stuff and also the reputation stuff. That's how we decide which of the operators we might prioritize. But overall, we are pretty open. So that's the reason we have onboarded more than 60, 50 operators so far.
Should I ask them to turn the camera off?
It's on. It's on.
I guess from operators' perspective, there are multiple angles to it. On the restaking layer, there is no way that we can choose other restaking layers, right? I mean, what I mean by that is we will gonna work with EigenLayer, but at the same time we want to work with Symbiotics, we want to work with Karak, we want to work with all the layers, but among those layers, we'll probably choose who has the most, who has attracted the most in terms of LRTs and AVSs. And on that, there is no doubt that EigenLayer is currently leading the charge and industry leader on the category that we're talking about. On the AVS side, the standard that we used to probably to choose AVSs until now was basically we were following basically what the LRTs were demanding, or not demanding, but like I would say what they were asking or what they had in mind. So if you look at the there's no like history of AVSs or history of like restaking yet, but if you look at how the how we've been evolving, a lot of the LRTs were sort of pushing for all AVS in a way, like so like there are bigger validators like P2P and us. We've been like going all AVS route until now. I think that was the case until like 2 months ago ish, and then a lot of the validators are now opting out from AVSs that they think that they need to opt out, and then like selectively opting in. So for that, everyone will probably have a different standard. I think the standard that we are trying to use is basically like, why would this AVS need shared security basically? How much shared security would they actually want? And on the cost of using the shared security, how is the AVS going to cover that? It are going to be the few questions that we're going to be throwing at to ourselves first. Probably as the time passes, I think there will be a time when certain operators that has size and there's certain operators that has like really tight relationship with LRTs are going to be starting asking the question to AVSs on behalf of LRTs. Is the way I'm looking at it. Here, the only pain point that operator has is that we're being the pawn of this game when nobody's paying us. So that is yet.
What about all the subsidies that we've been giving out?
Minuscule. But what I would say is it's I think it'll be very interesting next year, to be honest, when AVSs start making, like if we see AVSs making revenue, and how that like adds on top of the yield and on top of the 4% subsidy and grant.
Well, season one was more than that. Let's just also put a little disclaimer there.
Yeah, but like I think it will be a very interesting year next year. Like how things will turn out, and the and like LRT wars will probably be over by the next Q2. Is what I am predicting. So
I think YJ, feel free to add.
So I think I heard basically EigenLayer already launched their rewards protocol, right? And also what I heard is operators who support EigenDA is starting to receive the revenue from the EigenDA, and the other AVS will like basically follow it pretty soon.
Well, touch like actually on that point, right? So you mentioned a lot about AVS rewards. I think John focusing a lot on that. Understandable as an operator. Yeah, what are the AVSs, at least like in the vertical, that you think actually makes sense for shared security? Like what are the use cases that you believe that actually will stick through? And what are you more positive on? I think that's a question for all three of you. I think that's a very interesting one that everyone wants to know. Because we're permissionless, right? We welcome all builders. But what are the actual verticals that you think are interesting?
So I think a lot of the people are predicting. I want to take all my hat off as a A41's head. I think a lot of people that I am familiar with or a friend with are talking to or like talking about or addressing that data will be the only area that could actually potentially like have the revenue out. I think there's a reason why out of the AVSs that were invested or like being pushed or supported by a lot of the investors are like Oracle related or data related AVSs. It's hard to say, because if we hark back to the conference, main conference, like impacts, like session that I and Sue and Izzy were at, we and also James from Gauntlet, we were talking about like how fees, like these type of services that are related to data, is definitely like fee-related services, fee-driven services, and I'm uncertain about the fact that whether AVSs will be able to be competing at the level of other data services, and if we could actually see the AVSs that could potentially like generate revenue, so, and that could suggest a competitive fee compared to like the other like non-AVS services, I think then and only then we'll be able to see like AVSs that are going to shine. And still, like, you know, I'm still, as an operator, we don't see the clear path or clear why or how much like share security would AVS want, and how like what I mean by that is like how much like ETH that you want to get restaked, and how do you like proceed with that will be the question that we want to know as well from the AVS side.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So I can talk about the question about how much shared security usually each AVS wants. I think it really depends on how many customers the AVS have. For example, at least for us, we use shared security to provide to build a data layer, and our customers are those data consumers. Right now, we have a few consumers who already use us today, and we are actively onboarding more customers to use us. So how much shared security we need really depends on the number of customers we have, and also the TVL, and also like the security that each of our customer requires. And also, I believe this is similar to the other AVS. For example, I know some friends doing ZK coprocessor or FHE coprocessor. They also have their own customers in their own space, and like how much shared security is really depends on how well they can become in each of the sector, and like how many customers they have, and how much security their customers needs. So I would say today, if I look at all of the AVS today, last time I saw on EigenLayer mainnet there is around 20 AVS mainnet in production. I would say we are still at kind of early stage of that. When all of the AVS become like big giant, and when they have a lot of customers, they have the ability to generate sustainable revenue, we will see more shared security that these AVS require. Yeah, because today I also realize a big problem is the imbalance between the supply side and the demand side. Lots of people ask me how much security each of AVS needs and how many customers each AVS have. That's a problem on the demand side. We need to like improve. Because on the supply side, we see last time I saw there's like more than 4 million ETH restaked today. So I just say today there is an imbalance here. And also, I know both EigenLayer and lots of the AVS teams are working towards it. For example, we got lots of help from EigenLayer team to help us find the customers for our AVS. And also, I know some of the other AVS, they also got some help from EigenLayer team to introduce like their customers for them.
I think we are just the people supplying the ETH. So but I think from our perspective, it still remains to be seen. The future is kind of murky. But what I can say is that we are still in the early stages for AVS. I think right now the issue, as you put it, is actually the demand problem. Right now, the AVS only customers are really other companies that are in the space. But what about the other Web3 consumers, day-to-day consumers? I think we can have a paradigm shift only when we are able to bring more people into space. No, this is not just a product for other businesses, and people actually know what an AVS is. Today, if you ask a random person on the street, what's AVS, they probably will struggle to really explain what is it about. And I think from Puffer Finance point of view, we are also trying to contribute to AVS space. Specifically, we are doing to actually launch a pre-conf AVS, which actually allows you to read ahead into the Ethereum block, and that will have very strong synergy with what we are doing for a base rollup. So together with this base rollup and this pre-conf AVS, hopefully we can create a chain which has 100 millisecond transactions. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to do to create like synergies and create demand for this space and attention for AVSs as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like on the economic security problem, it's a problem that a lot of protocols ahead of us were trying to solve as well. I think it's a long-lasting issue that's in the space. And just on that, what's your take on using kind of Ethereum as the kind of securing asset? And now we have opened up to all the ERC20 tokens, which is permissionless now, that you can use any kind of ERC20 token as a staking asset. What's your thought on that? Because ever since I moved to Foundation, I used to be talking to all of you on a day-to-day level. Now I moved to Foundation, I want to hear your feedback from firsthand. And since we're here talking today, so we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Personally, I'm cautiously optimistic about this change. I'm optimistic because when you open up this to other ERC20 token, obviously you kind of like expand the whole ecosystem multifold. Now everyone can partake in this, and this will catch probably a lot of attention from the Web3 consumers because now there are many other ways to gain additional yield. But at the same time, I'm cautious about this because you're kind of like opening a Pandora box for bad operators to be part of this as well, and that's where we probably need like to have better governance for this. Yeah, that's my perspective.
I think operators, maybe even AVS, wouldn't really have too strong opinion on that question, especially. But it feels like we may have some impression, right? And I would strictly cut myself off from A41 here. I personally feel like opening up that like more assets to be used or utilized is very premature, to be honest. When we think of the idea, sorry for going back to yesterday's points, but I feel like the staking economy or staking fi that we call is still like growing, and the restaking has come into the field or to the world too fast compared to what we've prepared. For instance, out of because there are no protocols or rules that are being set. For instance, like out of all the AVSs that are in the production for the EigenLayer, like only one third of them probably provides like metrics that we can check for like health status, or like most of them don't even have slashing mechanisms involved, and probably like out of them, like it's really difficult to as an operator to see, but we don't really know who to ask these questions, or we don't really know who sets the rules here, and when we're like suffering from like this whole like infra layer as an operator, I think I wouldn't be surprised to call ourselves as one of the top notch in APAC, but we're still kind of struggling. If that is the case, are we really safe to open that Pandora's box? Is something I'm not too sure. And we don't even know how much shared security that AVSs would require at this stage. Are we simply doing it for the sake of hype again, is probably the question that I would ask back.
Yeah, I think the ability to support more ERC20 token is definitely a thing still for the supply side, because not everyone has lots of ETH, mainnet, or they want to restake, but they have lots of other token, or they might have some other like ecosystem token like BNB, whatever. So being able to include the other ERC20 token is definitely a thing for more end users to join the restaking, to learn about restaking, to contribute to the ecosystem. So I think it's a good thing to have. And from the AV side, I don't think we have, as John mentioned, I don't think we have a strong opinion of that. We might be concerned about the volatility of the price of the other ERC20 token, because in a black swan event in this industry, it might the price might dramatically go down by 50% in a day, and that might lead to whether or not the shared security is secure enough to basically secure our protocol, secure our customers. Yeah, but yeah, besides that, I don't think from AVS perspective we have strong opinion of that. Yeah.
I think like as your protocol evolve and reach to a point where you have your own token, would you kind of curious to hear what will the adoption be? Like, would you still rely mostly on ETH security at first, or you would try to apply your own tokens like as a security asset? I think that would be an interesting question.
Yeah, I can answer that. I remember when I looked into EigenLayer docs half a year ago, I saw the article about the dual token mechanism, and also I think that that's definitely helps in some sense, because we also saw some projects they use their own, like before EigenLayer, they use their own token for the trust network security, and that gives the token some kinds of utility. But when the price of the token goes down, it's easy to start in the death spiral. Basically, which means is when the price of the token is going down, the security for your network also goes down, which will bring the price of the token go down again. And by using both ETH Restake as well as your own token, basically the dual token mechanism, it will definitely increase the security level of your protocol, because in any sense, the Ethereum is definitely more stable than most of the other ERC20 tokens. Yeah, so I would say once the AVS have their own token, it's very possible they will support both their own token and the Restake ETH from EigenLayer. I think that might be the case. Yep.
Got it. Cautious of the time, so I think what I want to touch on next is, what is exciting for you all next? It doesn't have to be EigenLayer, it could be your protocol own development. I think just to touch on EigenLayer's next development, so I think a lot of people here, at least for this conference, I've been asked this question 10 times, when will your token be unlocked? So just to address that question publicly, and this is public information, that back in April, when we did the stake drop, we have announced that we will unlock the token by September 30th. So that's the deadline we draw for ourselves. So I hope that's a clear answer to everyone publicly. And then also we just announced our stake drop season 2 yesterday. So for those of you who are EigenLayer participants, please feel free to check our website and see your available token that's waiting for you. I'll pass it on to the rest of the speaker here.
So quick one. So Private Finance, just now I mentioned we're doing a base roll-up. So just quickly share the benefits of base roll-up. Right now we think that the relationship between L2s and Ethereum is kind of toxic in a way where the liquidity is kind of siphoned away from Ethereum. I mean, the Ethereum flailing price is a indicator of that. So base rollup, how really different from other rollup is that we're using Ethereum validators as the sequencer, and that brings back all the math back to Ethereum. So that's what we're trying to do. And in future, what happens is that any other companies that want to do their own rollups, if they use our tech stack, there's interoperability in that. You can just bridge liquidity. So this solves the liquidity fragmentation issue as well. And combined with the pre-conf AVS that we're launching, this will result in a chain that has 100 MS transactions. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're launching this quarter. So yeah, stay lookout for that. Yeah.
I would delegate to AVS first, and then I'll just wrap it up.
Oh yeah, for us, we have launched our user extension. If you follow us on Twitter, you will see the news, or if you search OpenLayer in the Google Chrome store, feel free to download it. You can start contributing your data, both public or your user private data today. We already launched it, and there is you can also accumulate points and incentives by doing that.
Yep. And A41 will be supporting all of you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your time today.